Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Valerie Ling coming to you live from my backyard. I have just taken a walk, a somewhat protracted walk, after doing my bit and voting this morning. And something that's been percolating in my mind ever since I had a wonderful conversation on this page that actually took us into a more private message realm. I've been percolating some thoughts about the cost of caring. Of course, you know that for me, when it comes to things like people burning out, feeling fatigued, and particularly when the cost of caring becomes really heavy, I have to tell you that this election has been a real mixed bag for me. I have not always had the privilege and the right to vote. Obviously, I was a kid, so I couldn't. And I'm aware that there was a time when even as a woman, you probably wouldn't have to. Thankfully, I don't live in that age. But usually what would fill me with a sense of perhaps hope or empowerment, I noticed that this election, I'm just tired, just fatigued. And it's been percolating a little bit about the ideas about caring. I've come to realize that what has happened to us, I think, in the last 10 years is probably that though we are technologically a lot more connected, we're also just swamped with voices all the time. People seemingly having dialogues, mostly having debates, and mostly those debates are based on opinion, sometimes misinformed, sometimes motivated by self-agendas, and especially coming up to election, I was aware that I was getting a lot of this sort of voices coming at me. And compounded to that is probably some conversations that I just have in my everyday life with all the different spaces that I occupy, where the question is kind of comes to me like, are you worried about how you might be perceived? Or are you concerned about how that might come across? Or will this cost, a reputation or a... And my instinct is actually really to say, I actually really don't care. And that can take people a bit aback. What do you mean you don't care? And I think what I truly mean to say is that we live at a time when image and what people stand for, what people believe for, and actually what happens in our everyday lives is manufactured. It's published, it's produced, it's manufactured, and most of the time the people who might be preoccupying our thoughts in terms of what they can, what they perceive, are really other people who know us on an everyday individual level. And I think my challenge when I say I don't really care doesn't mean that I don't care. It means that I don't want to care. Because I think that if people really got to know us individually, they would understand contextually where you're coming from and delay judgment. Anyways, so my thoughts on caring is deeply woven into the elections because I don't really want to feed into a popular vote or a stoning exercise or even a self-invested exercise. And I realize that it's also the layers of caring. So if you're someone who on a regular basis is caring for someone, whether it's someone, a loved one, or in your profession, it can totally feel, can't it, like one more thing to care for. How on earth am I going to fit this into my space? And we can kind of feel a sense of disappointment and maybe a sense too that people don't really understand. We're just trying to do the best we can with the limited cognitive, emotional, and physical space that we have. Just admiring those flowers. They're beautiful. And so when I woke up this morning, that was a similar space that I was occupying. I've got to care for these elections. I've got a family to care for. I've got all these things that I need to care about, and gee, it's tiring. Hi, Larissa. Nice to see you. You're probably interested in elections. So I want to tell you about the shift that I had. Morning, Kathy. You're probably voting too. The shift that I had. I was feeling the burden, and you know that I'm feeling it when I walk around the world with this and these. That means I didn't want anybody to approach me with their material about how to vote, who to vote for. I didn't want anybody to talk to me. I didn't want some more people in my face, some more voices telling me what to think. And I walked into that election this morning, the voting booth, that way. I was very respectful though. I took off the sunnies and I took off the earbuds as soon as I got to the human being that I was talking to. And I just continued to feel the dread and the sense of inconvenience until I folded my vote and put it in the box. And when I did that, I suddenly felt a shift in my energy. And I realized that it's the kind of stuff that I've been saying to the people that I talk to who care for others, who can feel a sense of hopelessness and feeling jaded when they look at the future, when they think about policies, when they think about funding, when they think about what's available out there for their loved ones, even beyond their lifespan, what's going to happen. And I see the energy in the room shift when we start to talk about what I call a collective wisdom. That everything that we do, everything that we think about, and every small strike of action that we make adds to a kind of a collective wisdom. It's not for a hope that Pollyanna outcomes will happen, but it's for a conviction that if we do nothing, we will land up with nothing. But if we do something, we add to a collective wisdom. We impact other people's ways of thinking. And more importantly, if you're a carer of a loved one, you're moving in line with the conviction that the people that you love can still have the best of you. And the best of you is not always to be happy and chirpy. The best of you is to continue to care and love for them, not what other people think. Not what other people want you to do, not what other people demand of you, not what other people want of you to make some kind of public statement for how you live your life, but to care for the people that you love. And after I put my vote in, and I felt very energized because I thought, I'm so privileged and glad that I can add to a collective wisdom, whatever the outcome of this election in. And then I felt a really strong need to walk around my community and connect with the people and the small businesses around my place whom I know are caring for others. You don't have a small business because you like a life of freedom. You have a small business because you have to make a living. You've got to care and feed for the people that you live with. And I wanted to see their faces, and I wanted to connect with them, and I wanted to say, today I voted for a life that, for a meaning that could make a difference for you and me. And then when I came home and I'm about to head back into my family, I left them to go and vote. I think I just tapped into the thing that what I'm caring for and who I'm caring for makes the difference. And yes, we've got to take care of the resources that we have, but it's actually all right to say that we don't have all the answers. What we know and what we work with is enough for today. As we add our decision and as we add our thoughts to a kind of a collective wisdom, for whatever outcome that takes place. If you have a faith, of which I do, I also walked home to a song that helped me to leave that burden, not with me, but with a power that I believe in. But that it is about coming back to the little things and the everyday things, knowing that we work in small steps and small acts of kindness, meaningful points of connection, listening in and doing things a little bit differently from what other people want us to do can actually make that difference. I hope I've made sense. And I hope that maybe in some small way, something might have resonated with you. Hello, Kim. Hello, Larissa. Hello, Kathy. It's time for me to head that way into the house. Have a great day.